now.
Onomatopoeia.
Onomatopoeia.
I beat you, Jay.
Every
Fuck you.
time.
No, you didn't, bitch.
Yes, I
Alright.
did.
Did I hear the word chicken used as a slur?
Chicken.
At least chicken can fly.
Ooh.
Ooh.
So
All right.
I'm going to impale myself on one of these spears that the statues are holding.
Even God is dissing on Kenku.
Oh, I can't do any better than I already have done.
God is the reason Kenku are like this.
I thought it was
Alright.
a god.
Welcome back to the Stained Glass Lands. The previous time, the party faced off with the Beholder of Algiz, a woman named Ilana Silvanto, an individual you discovered to be the mother of Lorenz, one of the party members in this group. You sort of joined a union between Hell Knights, Anubian Inquisitors, and the Sacrosanct Exorcists, who are kind of battling back the incursion of the curse emerging from the Tlani Basin, from the city of Turisaz, while you were on your way to the city of Esselheim to seek answers from a prophet known as Lady Eleanor of the Waters of the New Dawn. We will return in session just after the defeat of Ilana, this insane woman covered in all sorts of eyes, multicolored, strange, some larger, small, bulging like tumors. Her emaciated body lying on the ground, along with the numerous minions she had, all defeated. There is an air of silence around as in all of a split second, the sounds of a siege, of clashing weaponry, shouts, yells, ballista firing, the roars of fireballs and other similar spells cease to exist. You have a few minutes, presumably, before the forces storm the castle in which you stand now. Would you like to have conversations, finish other conversations you're in the midst of having?
I believe that is
All right.
Fenton and Lorenz. They were having a conversation.
Mhm.
In the middle of it.
Yes.
So
Go for it.
Yeah, I guess just to kind of recap, Fenton had approached Lorenz to try to offer comfort through a story of a little city in between the Ochre Kingdom and New Kylex, and I believe I left a question for you, Lorenz, but it is up to you if you want to play that out here or
Mhm.
play it out in sending later. It's up to you.
Well, I'll give you the answer, or Lorenz will give Fenton the answer. So he stands there. He's looking at Fenton, attention drifting away from Ilana's body lying on the floor. I don't know a lot about politics, but I can tell you what I would have done. I would have chosen neither.
Then you do know the end of the story, at least. For Kilton chose, in some ways, neither, but where it was advantageous, both. Yes, their heritage, their current circumstances were troubling, overwhelming, perhaps. But the truth for Kilton in this moment was whatever they decided that it would be. These were people who had known nothing but hard work and hard realities. They simply did not have the time for new knowledge to be anything other than beneficial. And so they saw an opportunity here. And Fenton will put yet another minor illusion in front of him, another wispy kind of blue image of the city, of the little village of Kilton again. but now there's a large main thoroughfare road through the heart of the city with a caravan passing through in one direction and another caravan coming through the other direction. And he'll continue. He'll say, to New Gylax, Kilton became an entry point into the Ochre Kingdom with lower tariffs than those in Sarvia. Of course, Kilton pocketed those tariffs. And then when traders from the Ochre Kingdom eventually found this new road to Obidis, they happily paid Kilton's tolls to save days' worth of travel. You see, Lorenz, Kilton profited off of their unique identity in two directions. Of course, the risen Amadeus got on eventually, seized control of the route, but by then the natives of Kilton had amassed enough wealth to move into the Ochre Kingdom, live in comfort. So my point is this, Lorenz. Heritage and tradition and circumstance, these things are just different forms of knowledge. And knowledge can be a burden, but it can also be a tool. I think it's worthwhile to ask, would the people of Kilton have been better off without ever having been discovered in the first place? And perhaps they would have, for a time. Things would have been more simple, but revelations have a way of seeking us out. We can only hide from them for so long. Understandable.
Oh my gosh. Fenton's absolutely amazing moment. And Laura's like, I'm sorry, my cat is about to jump off the building.
I was gonna say he got Charlie.
Such is the way of
strikes
things.
again.
Strange smelling Mel has entered.
You know, we are owed a lot of pictures of Charlie, by the way.
It's so true. We're in a Charlie deficit here.
Mm-hmm.
Tough times these are.
We can look back in every recording and tally up how much is owed.
How much Charlie are we owed?
If anyone else is doing anything, feel free to.
Ooh, okay.
Oh. Hi, Lorenz.
Never mind.
Should be the last sort of long interruption for tonight.
No worries. You're so good.
Okay. So, if I remember correctly, Fenton was explaining that tradition and all that is basically just other forms of knowledge, and I believe there was a question at the end of it.
Yeah, I'll just I'll have Fenton, and he'll say take whatever time you need to process, Lorenz, this new knowledge, but do believe that you are better off for the knowing of it. Even if there's regrets contemplating a past that could have been, the question in light of challenging truths is not who are you, rather it is who will you let yourself become.
Huh. That's it's very precise.
We have no choice but to grow.
And I suppose in the way that Reed is right on that front as well.
It troubles me to consider that he is, but I think that is correct.
Adapt, tide will swallow you.
Beyond Yelana, there is something else that we learned here today too. Wherever that letter is at that Yelana had, I'd like to reference that. Are you familiar with the name on this letter? Tassar?
I've never heard of him.
It is the name of a very, very powerful arcanist, Lorenz. A member of Lyceum Draconis, if I'm not mistaken, and the inventor of the Gate spell, which is magics far beyond my comprehension. A master, in all senses of the word, of planar magics, and presumably your father? So a new theory arises. Did you find Eyanga's tear in the sands, or did you perhaps find your father there?
I had wished I would remember either.
That seems to be an important missing detail, doesn't it?
It does. I don't know if I should give up on being surprised.
I'm sure there are many more surprises in store. But that is my suggestions for you. That is what I have to offer. Take it or leave it.
I appreciate that. Thank you, Fenton.
Of course. That's all I got.
All right. Soon you can hear the barreling of footsteps into the double doors, and you can see heading the front of charge the tall, glaive-wielding Arakmaher, the Nubian, as well as a few individual warriors. And there's a flood in the room, and sounds that sort of turn into silence as they recognize what has happened. And you can see they are expecting something similar, but they didn't know what to expect. And you can see the paladin slowly sort of stalk up towards the fray here and give a slight bow. Right, I suppose I have you to thank for this.
You thought you could insult me by putting me in a kitchen. I proved I'm the greater.
And what do you expect us to do in response? Toss you outside?
I can cook where I please.
And you are welcome to. I've known long ago not to express thanks to a knoll beyond, roughing them up and sending them on their merry way. So, to you, I will say, go, shoo. And to the rest of you, you have my thanks. The Inquisition does appreciate the service you have given them. I don't know precisely how you got here or why, but we will look into that quite readily, I will assure you that.
I know who you should thank.
Yes?
Lucas, one of the Hell Knights.
You're telling me a Hell Knight disobeyed a direct order and went on his own?
Correct. He is my brother.
I see.
And the Beholder of Algiz is, or was, our mother at one point.
Family matters, then.
Family matters.
I have no room to judge them. But you have saved a good deal of lives here today. Mostly my warriors. We would have won, but...
On the topic, Arakmahar, are there uninfected survivors still in Algiz?
No. Well, pardon me. But I thought you meant, are there still infected people? If there are any survivors, they would have not been infected. Once the Beholder is dead, its minions are, so we will find out.
I'm very curious to find what they have been through, if any remain.
We will give them a home, and we will ensure that they can aid in the Inquisition's further encroachment upon Pliny land. They have been rescued from a death, so we must give them purpose.
Will your people be chanting away the rot here?
And that is what we are here for.
If you keep pushing, you keep living, I will return to you later.
Is that a promise?
What good is a promise? It is my will.
You are beings constructed entirely of will and whim, so I do not doubt that. What are you doing in the interim, you and your group? You interest me. You are curious.
We travel north to seek knowledge.
I see.
Our destination is Estelheim.
If the curse of Pliny spreads to Estelheim, then it will be a sad day indeed, but if it does, I will be there as well. So go, find what you wish to. I have a city to run now.
Nubians, always so interesting. I'll wander off.
Are you at all opposed to us exploring these chambers while we are here?
You have earned that right.
Loot everything!
I did want to take a look around.
Very well. But do keep in mind, this is my city now. I will run it the way I wish to.
Of course.
That is why I asked.
And you have until nightfall.
What of the underground? Under here, where the Delran fled.
I will ensure that they are cleared out and repurposed into methods that will aid in the Inquisition. If there are any surviving Terrans, then they will be given a place to rest, presumably underground.
This was their home. First.
And they failed to protect it. Thus I stepped in. It will be given back to them once the curse in Tlani fades. Do you disagree with that, Dignan?
I do not know, for I cannot see the future.
Will they be
Neither
fed and
can we.
taken care of?
Circuit. Did you take a look around Vale? All of the citizens were provided with food and ample lodgings. That is what we provide. Certain death is not a preferable alternative to hard work, but a guaranteed survival.
Perhaps I shall come back sometime to see the cousins of my people, if any remain.
We will
would
not
be,
just... Go ahead.
It It would be sad to see history taken and destroyed again.
We will not destroy. You have at least that from me, but we will do it as necessary in order to accomplish our goals.
But still, that is if any remain below, of which I do hope you find some.
I assure you, Ignan, that the Terran are known for their craftsmanship, specifically with the art of war and tunneling. I am sure that their vengeance extends to the undead and Tlani who took their home originally. I can give them the purpose of fighting back against those who robbed them of their original homestead. If it is vengeance you seek, they will be given the opportunity to grant it.
I have had a fill of vengeance today. Today is now a sad day. I merely wish not to hear more. The Terran are the Terran, and as they fled underground during the Shattering, and created citadels from which they fought off many monsters from the dark below. Seeing how many the enemy here had on the battlefield. As I said, I can only hope that there are still some who yet live and may come to live once again in their home.
Now that the Beholder is dead, do you wish to venture into the tunnels and search for yourself?
Fushker looks at the rest of the party.
Do we have time?
What time of day is it?
The siege started in the morning. It took about half the day to walk. It's getting close to evening. You know that Arakmaher wanted you out of the castle by nightfall, but she didn't really care about how long you stayed in the city for. She has her own things going on.
Well, Foshkro, we should certainly spend the night in the city at least, but we should be on our way at sunrise. It's up to you. I would like to look around the castle, but presumably the majority of the danger here is gone.
And still we have a funeral to make. And
Well,
that
then
should
we
not wait until the morning either. Then I suppose I do not have time to see.
If you return, I will grant you passage into the tunnels. You have earned that.
Then
And if you do return, bring that gnoll back with you.
Sorry.
even if I have to sling him over my shoulder and carry him, I shall.
I'll have some catching up to do with him.
Tea party? Meow.
Charlie.
Charlie agrees.
We will be having funeral rites for our own soldiers who died. We will set up one for Ilana if you so choose.
That is a decision for her son.
Lorenz.
He may be chasing a Charlie.
The dreaded muted mic.
Return. He's being very bad.
He sounds absolutely adorable.
Oh no. I think he's gonna do it again.
There it is.
Yeah.
I love him so much.
Troublemaker.
Charlie needs to come to the meetup.
Anyways, Lorenz, you are her son. I will confirm with Lucas, but do you wish to hold your own burial? We will be setting up rites for our own soldiers, as will the Hell Knights. We can orchestrate one for you.
I would like that. Thank you.
Good. Now to the victors, take their spoils. You may venture about the castle, but I wish for it to be mine by nightfall. We have banners to raise.
Understandable. We'll be about it then.
And for your trouble, you can see her reach around her neck and unclip what appears to be a pearl necklace and hand it out to whoever's closest. A little gift of mine.
The question is who's closest?
Lorenz?
She'll choose Foshka.
Okay.
Give the magic items to Foshkra.
Does she tell me what it does?
No.
Damn it! Foshkra's holding this pearl necklace up in front of him in his still bloodied hand. What does it do?
If any of you are of the divine proclivity, those may be useful in channeling your powers.
And with hearing that, Foshkra looks over at Leora and holds the now slightly blood-covered pearl necklace out to her.
She would take it in her hands and bow her head in thanks.
I have matters to it. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say just before putting it around her neck.
I have matters to attend to. Goodbye. She abruptly turns heel and leaves.
Does she leave soldiers in the hall?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, silent, mostly just carrying spears, watching you intently.
Uncomfortable staring.
Alright,
Oh, the
everybody.
Nubians are comfortable. They're fine.
Everyone scatter, loot the place.
If you are looting the place, go ahead and give me a singular investigation check, or at advantage if someone is being helped. So whoever has the highest modifier can go ahead and do it.
I
I'll
None
say
of you are
+3.
are intelligence based, so good luck.
I have a 1.
I have a
Four.
+3, but I am proficient in it, so I can
Alright.
use my psionic dice to get an extra
Ooh.
D8.
Chain, loot the place.
Chain loot the place. Yes.
I will say, while the
Advantage
party
I'm
goes...
missing because they're missing and people are helping.
Yeah.
Correct. Do so at advantage.
Yep.
Oshka?
Helping.
I was just gonna say, while everyone else is scattering about, Foshtra just stands guard by Ilana's body.
26.
26 is excellent. You don't have time to do a full in-depth search of the entire castle, but you wander up the buttresses through the hallways carved of stone. Most has been picked clean at this point, but inside of a library you find an additional scroll that's been sort of tucked away. Seems to be written in the same handwriting of the beholder. Do you speak Constellia?
I do not, so I will add it to the books that are also in Constellia.
I think only me and Lore can speak Constellia.
Yep.
Bedtime stories.
If one of them are with me, then I'll just hand it to them.
Well, I suppose since Lorenz is interested in helping out and seeing what's there, he's probably.
It says, "My dearest Tazar, what have you done? What fortuitous thread have you pulled? What is it that you have unraveled? Where did you leave to, dear? Make it make sense, I beg of you. Why those 6? Dash, Ilana.
Oh, shit.
So Fate's name is Tassar. Got it.
While you're here, Lore,
And there is a cloak of protection on Ilana, should any of you want it. It's
Oh.
rather scattered and torn, but sort of a shimmering reddish cloak.
Can the Ignan have another 2 AC?
The necklace you received, Leora, is a necklace of prayer beads.
Yeah.
Well, out of character, I do think it would be very poetic for Lorenz to have the cloak.
Yeah.
yeah, I was gonna
It
give Lore
I
would.
can't
first
argue
dibs
with
at.
that.
I was
You
gonna
can't
give
argue
Lore
with
first
that.
dibs at it, at anything that we found or that Jane found, I guess.
So we only found the note, the little scroll.
Yes.
Okay.
And the cloak.
While Lore's like deciphering, reading the note, Jane is going to reach into his bag and pull out the books that he found in the maze, and go, "While you're here, I found these in them while I was scouting the maze." Same language.
Oh. All right. Thank you. Let's see what's in these. And he's gonna look into the books and translate them.
There are 2 books. One is dedicated to searching for an individual known as Tazar Solvanto, who disappeared. The last known location was Estelheim. Ilana has written that he said he was going somewhere dangerous and took with him an adventuring party of mercenaries known as the Sirens 6.
Another 6
They were never
people.
seen again. The other book is in search, it's a smaller one. It is in search of a man known as Lorenz. She details triangulating him down to the Shimmering Sands, and as of the past year or so, trying to send some of her idol goths to the city of Kalak in an attempt to find him physically, but the last entry in that journal is the inclusion of what appears to be a sending pearl that has, or pardon me, a sensory pearl similar to a sending stone, but it shows a brief scrying memory instead of 25 words, in which Ilana saw a garish, gaudily dressed Leonin severing the head of one of her messengers, sort of giving a cruel snarl and saying, "He's mine." And the rest after that is insane, deranged scribbling.
Lorenz closes the second book. And he looks at Shane and somewhere else. He's not really sure how to process that. I don't know if that's It doesn't answer any questions, really. Just brings up more questions.
Did Laura was he translating it out loud?
Yeah, he
Gotcha.
was reading out loud.
Well, can't say that she didn't care for you in her own way.
I know. I know she had turned mad. But I could see it in her eyes, or what was left of them. She cared. She did. Misguided, absolutely, but I wondered what she was before. How she was. And I think the thing that hurts the most is that I still have not cried for her. For I did not know her. Not enough, anyhow. And what does that say about me?
In some ways, it's a mercy that you don't have that part of her to grieve.
Perhaps.
For how can you grieve someone that you didn't truly know?
All I know is that I've lost 2 mothers. Today marks the 2nd. What about your family, Jane? Do you have someone to go back to?
My parents are still alive, if that's what you're asking, but I don't desire going back to them anytime soon.
Not an ideal situation, then.
Seems like parents have a knack for going mad.
I'm sorry to hear that.
It seems peering into the stars isn't the only way to lose your mind.
I feel there are many ways to lose one's mind. It feels like not long ago I had lost mine in the desert. For a time.
Well, you're far more put together than any mad person I've met.
I had the benefit of holding on to the memory of someone I loved dearly. All this time, the conflict of wanting to run away yet unable to give up for him. It's a messy affair.
As it so usually is.
Have you ever been in love, Jane?
No, I can't say that I have.
It's wonderful, but it hurts.
I can only imagine. I fear I'm far too young and my life has been far too eventful for me to explore such feelings.
I'm far too young. How old are you?
19.
We're the same age.
Well,
It's alright. We all go down our own winding path, figure it out along our way. I know we
suppose
haven't
do.
we haven't gotten to really talk a lot. I want to say that I'm sorry.
You see, he kind of gets like a confused look on his face. For what?
It was a few days back. You had asked me how I was. You were checking in on me. I had pushed you away. It wasn't because of you. It was because I still wanted to refuse that I ever wanted to be a part of this group. And you reached out and I smacked your hand, and I'm sorry because you didn't deserve that.
You see Chain like he goes from like confused to angry, back to confused to just kind of like dumbfounded. If you could go back to before all this, knowing what you know now, would you still have left the Twin Blades with this group? Would you have even gone to the Twin Blades in the first place?
No, that is a surprisingly easy question. Knowing everything that I do now, yes, I would. I would still make the same decision.
I wonder what everybody else would say to that.
I wonder too. Would you make the same decision, Shane?
I don't think I would. A saying I've heard quite often, ignorance is bliss. I liked the little life I had before, and now I don't feel I can go back to that.
So you liked your life better before?
Before recent events, yes.
Aye.
I felt I had friends, I felt I had found purpose. But if recent conversations are anything to believe, then it was all just another lie.
I know how that feels to an extent. Not that everything was a lie, but I know how it feels to have all that taken away from you, at the very least. I have to ask, do you not find purpose in our adventure? Or perhaps it's not even the right word for it. In our travel? Our search for answers? Is that not purpose, or is that something that you'd rather no longer be a part of?
I can't say I find purpose in it. There's far too many unanswered questions. Reed seems to be the only one that knows what's going on, and he speaks in riddles and doesn't give straight answers. So none of us know what's going on.
Finally, it's not just me. Reed has been getting on my every last nerve.
At least he isn't trying to teach you how to hunt.
He's been teaching you how to hunt.
Trying to.
Trying to is the key word here. How is he doing?
Well, I knew perfectly fine how to kill beforehand, so the things that he's trying to teach me are nothing new.
Ah. Are you simply going along with it so you don't damage his pride?
Oh, I could care less about his pride. I go
So
along
he
with it
just
because while he's
games you.
hunting, he stops talking.
Ah, that's why. And you are doing a service for us all. I do not know if I can take one more sentence out of his mouth. I don't mean to say that I do not hate to read. I'm frustrated by him. He talks in circles, and it feels like every word out of his mouth leads me down a endless maze. And what is even more frustrating about it is that I get the impression that he knows things, understands things that the rest of us don't. And the way he communicates them is through convoluted riddles.
I'll never understand people that use way too many words to convey simple thoughts.
Like Syrian.
Ugh. At least I got new words from him.
Well, that's a benefit. I pretty much almost ignored him the whole way through. It was in one ear, out the other.
The only reason I listened was because the voices of rich people and important people usually do well in distracting other people.
Oh. Very sneaky.
It's the only way to get what you want, really.
I believe there's more than one way to get what one wants, but It is certainly a valid way. I've been known to have some nimble fingers.
I see you doing your card tricks.
Yes. And not just card tricks. I may have pickpocketed here and there. Nothing too scandalous.
What's the most scandalous thing that you've stolen?
Ah. Out of character, actually. I'm hitting a brick wall here. I'm trying to think of something.
It's all good. Doesn't have to continue if it's a logical conclusion to end, or resume at another time.
And Shayna will never have another character moment with anyone ever again.
What about Beltane?
As a character.
No.
That's not a player character.
Alright. That you know.
You're not a player, Fel. You're God.
Okay,
That's right. Go ahead.
alright. I have something. I think the most scandalous and the most embarrassing was a religious amulet someone had on them. I had honestly thought I was taking something else, but well, I couldn't exactly return it back once I had taken it. So I left it somewhere else on the street. It wouldn't have gotten me anything really anyways.
What kind of religious amulet was it?
I don't quite remember. I wasn't exactly paying too close attention. The moment that I noticed that it had certain iconography, I immediately panicked, went down the street to a corner, threw it on the ground, and went away. I do hope they found it.
That's funny.
I'm gonna rejoin with the others. Do you care to come with me?
Seeing as there's nothing else in this castle, I suppose we should.
All right. And they're gonna regroup with the others.
Alright. Nightfall rapidly approaches as the final searches of the castle go underway. You can see the Anubians are already starting to move in. Although the Hell Knights and Exorcists helped, this is very much an Anubian operation happening, and you can see they're maybe not overjoyed, but very happy to have a proper castle to work with. You can see that the Anubians are methodically combing through homes, breaking through doors and ensuring there are no hostiles about, rescuing or bringing out the living citizens they find. There are remarkably few that are still left, but The city doesn't seem to be quieting for the night. There are some arrangements that are set up to sleep, if you like, but they're more sort of an outdoors camp kind of thing, or pick a house if it's unoccupied, you can rest inside kind of deal. In that vein, I'm assuming you are probably going to find some building that has been abandoned to spend the night in together. Are you doing anything as the night continues on? Are you resting? Are you having conversations with any of the individuals you know here or with each other?
To set
Weren't we
this,
having the funeral tonight?
Oh yes, I'm so sorry. You can see that set up at the outside perimeter of the city beyond the walls where the majority of the fallen individuals have been. There are Anubians that are quite tirelessly working on graves, just burying them in the ground, setting up funeral pyres, and allowing individuals, if they knew each other, to say last rites or words of respect. The Nubians treat the dead with a tremendous amount of respect, you can see. It's very much with reverence that they bury the fallen. Ilana's body is carried out by a few Nubians, and you can see that a lot of them are shooting sort of dirty or righteously furious glances at it, but it is just a body at this point. And as dusk begins to fall, the stars come out. You can see that there's a pyre prepared for her. There is some golden light as wandering Anubian priests bless the corpses, and Ilana is soon enveloped in that fold. A sort of expedited journey to Anubis himself. As the pyres begin to burn one by one, would you like to have any conversations? What are you doing at this point in time?
do you believe the Anubians are angry because they wish to punish the beholder more than they believe their God will?
Perhaps it is just soldiers being angry at an enemy who took the lives of friends and loved ones from them during their conflict here.
I do not believe I will understand them. I think maybe I don't need to be the one to understand them.
Most Norus do not understand the sorrow or the anger of seeing one they cared for fall before them. To them, it is just another meal.
Will you be adding to the rights of the Nubians here?
If Lawrence would like, I could.
Please. I would appreciate it.
I will watch.
That before Ilana's pyre is actually lit, Foshker goes to the Anubian, I imagine, who's carrying the torch.
Mm-hmm.
He snags the torch out of the Anubian's hand and douses it before holding now just the charred end in one hand and the handle in the other.
Okay.
He holds it, and as he holds it, he kind of
Roll initiative.
initiative.
Are you interrupting with the funeral rites of an Anubian priest?
Say yes.
Uh,
Say yes. Say yes.
Is okay. As I go to grab it, what's the reaction from the Anubian?
Well, the Anubian's going to try to step away and give you a glare and say, "And what the hell do you think you're doing? Do not interrupt. We're consecrating the dead."
It is not an interruption. It is a fulfillment of a request for my friend, for their fallen mother. You may continue. All I am doing is providing my own way of sending them. You will see. Be
I will
patient.
bless the corpse, and you can do with it what you wish.
And
Continues along.
I will bless the flame.
You can do with the flame what you want. I don't care about the body, the soul is what matters. So step out of my way and let me do what I need to do.
Does the family of the fallen have no word on what is done?
Anubis is the primary adjudicator of the dead.
He was not always.
Is that so?
Your deity was not always here.
Lawrence is going
And
to
your
step
people do not have souls. Now step out of the way.
Come on, roll
Lawrence
initiative.
is gonna approach, and he's gonna look to the Nubian.
Are you the kin of the fallen?
I am.
Can you verify this Ignan's words?
They are true. I had asked him to be a part of this.
Then I will bless the corpse without burning it, and you may continue with your own barbaric and pointless rituals.
Thank you.
He's gonna shoulder check you, Foshkra, as you as he passes by.
Shoulder check a giant
If
Ignan
you'd like to do
barbarian.
anything about that, and
Foshkra would roll his shoulder into it to see who shoulder checks who.
roll me a strength check.
All right. I didn't even open my character sheet today. Do I still have? Why did that drag my token up there? Do I still have the effect of the potion? At this
The
point?
potion, it would have been an hour, so no, not at this point.
Okay.
That would have been funny.
Oh,
That's still funny.
You cannot move the lizard.
yeah, the Anubian kind of stumbles back, gives you a glare, and just moves around you. Yeah, they can be pricks, but
Foshkra returns the glare and is but he has like a slight curl to the side of his lip.
the priest continues to bless the corpse one by one, sort of showering them in golden light. It chooses not to light Ilana's corpse on fire and will allow you to do the honors.
All right. So continuing, again taking the torch that was meant to light Yolana's pyre, Foshkra douses the flame that was already there, and then holding one end in both hands, kind of closes his eyes for a moment, and Lorenz, being close, can see that familiar glow from the center of his chest. and it travels up his shoulder, down his arm, into his palm, where it kind of focuses underneath where he's holding the torch before it ignites. With that done, he holds the now newly lit torch over to Lorenz. Flame of the land, flame of my people.
Thank you. He graciously takes it and approaches. And then he lights the fire.
There's the snap and crackle of flame as it emerges and burns up the wooden pyre and engulfs it in flame. Soon it burns brightly, sort of illuminating the grass around you, blood-stained, slashed with swords, and cut with boots. But a few minutes pass, and it all burns to ash.
Be free. Know that I will be okay. I know you tried. But you can rest now. I wish I had gotten to know you. Be happy where you go next.
And the ash settles on to muddied, bloody ground.
Foshgra's just standing there next to Lorenz, watching the flames for as long as Lorenz is willing to stand there and watch.
Lorenz is basically just gonna watch, and he's paying a lot more attention to the embers that are burning upwards into the air. And he's gonna pretty much do that until he gets too tired to.
It would be some time spent standing in the din. You can hear the sort of dolorous chant of Anubians wandering by, the crackling and burning of fires and pyres. Roll me a perception check, Lorenz.
Okay. Not my strongest.
Respectable.
You are attuned to the stars as a Volpinal, though you know them. You spent time looking at them, feeling an instinctive draw. And you swear you can see, faint but prominent, an additional star up in that nebulous sky, winking down at you.
He smiles at it. And he points up to the sky for Foshka to see.
Foshgra follows Lorenz's finger. Does he see the same thing?
Roll me a perception check, Foshka. It'll be harder for you.
Does he get advantage because Lorenz is helping him see?
Yeah. Yeah, you can make out another star in the landscape above. With some guidance and direction and pointing. You aren't quite sure it's a new one, but you probably trust Lorenz enough to ensure that it is. Or if you take the time to make a mental map of the stars in their head.
You know, Lorenz, there are tales long ago where such a thing as this was not so uncommon. Your people seeing the stars, mine tending the land. But together, we lived here. I wonder when the last time one of the folk stood with one of you to send off one to the land and to the stars.
I don't know. I don't know a lot about history. But if this is anything to go by, perhaps the world would be a bit better if this was more common. If we stopped fighting with one another and just like this.
There is too much blood in the land now. I do not know if there will ever be an end to the fighting.
I know. I know there will still be more blood. But I can dream. And I can dream a laughable dream about what a better world might be. And I will hang on to it.
Well, if Reed's ramblings can be believed, then gathering all of these stones will give you the ability to change the world.
Give us the ability to change the world. It shouldn't just be one. That isn't a decision that one person can make. It'll be us. It'll be all of us.
Perhaps. But I think that is a long ways away. So, for tonight, you say goodbye. But also, now you can say hello to your new star.
That I can. That I can.
The star, Ilana.
I hope she is happy.
Well, now she gets to see you every night. So long as you are not trapped in a Terran tunnel again.
Oh, don't remind me. That was... The dreams I had was sleeping there. Oh gosh, they were awful.
I slept rather well.
To each their own.
They were made by the cousins of my people. So, perhaps there is that.
They were great builders.
And wonderful painters.
Where that Foshker just falls silent and just stares up.
And I think that will be the end of that conversation with the two at the funeral pyre.
About
You
30
watch
feet.
it as it burns down. Sorry, go ahead.
About 30 feet away, leaning against a house, Reed's watching from a distance and just slowly banging his head on the brick wall.
What in the world?
Well, why though?
Yes. You're in a field of mud, blood, and ashes. Was the star too clean?
No, the scene was too emotional. Gotta get rid of the feeling somehow.
And it was on this day that the reed's heart grew 3 sizes.
From
Why
0
do
to
you
0.
think-
Condition.
Why do you think Reed's original staff got broken?
Oh no, he's gonna break another one.
Doesn't want to feel. As the night continues on, you're welcome to take a rest, a long rest.
So much power!
Give me my HP.
The sounds of construction and noises and moving bodies continues well into the night, but after a day spent fighting and experiencing emotional turmoil, sleep was probably welcome.
Very.
And for the first time in a while, nothing interrupts any of your dreams quite yet.
No.
Not the lack of stars causing nightmares, and not a wandering snake trying to eat someone's dreams. Morning rises, and you can see the Nubians are already hard at work. You don't think they ever stopped working. Well, what would you like to do?
Well, I think that Lorenz is going to trade his little torn up little cloak thing for the cloak of protection. He's going to wrap it around his shoulders. The start of a new day.
Someone please cast prestidigitation on that thing.
No, well, he'll go ahead and do it because he has the prestidigitation cantrip. So he's good. He's already taken care of it.
Okay.
Why do you keep the old one?
Is this in character or out of character?
In character.
What do you mean?
You wear something better.
Yes, I do.
Abandon the old one.
Would you like to burn it for me?
I was going to keep it, but I could burn it.
Lorenz hands the old, little shabby cloak thing to Reed. Do what you want with it. I don't consider it mine anymore.
Reed will clear his throat a bit and say in a slightly more normal voice, I will get started on breakfast. Kind of stuff the old cloak in his bag.
You do that.
and then we should be off to Laguz as soon as we can.
What is our path to our next destination?
I assume the road continues north? Assuming there are still bridges up, we might have to cross water.
You know, that's about a 2-day travel to Laguz from your current position in Algiz. We have 2 rivers to cross, but they have functioning bridges.
When we begin our journey, I would like to cast Druidcraft and kind of feel out the weather and see what the trip is going to be like. Is it going to be raining and storming? Is it going to be sunny?
The read forecast is out with another announcement. You can sense that this part of the Tlani Basin is quite rainy due to its proximity to the mountains, and it's the hot end of summer. It's going to be windy, it's going to be rainy, overall warm, but with cool winds and perhaps some rain.
We might get wet.
That's to be expected, I suppose. I would like to ask around Algiz a bit, whether it's Anubians or Hell Knights or whoever's in the near vicinity, what if they know of the conditions going to Laguz. Just try to get a feel for what we're heading into as we continue on.
Who specifically are you asking? Just an in-person, or?
Unless there's an NPC we know in the immediate vicinity, just whoever's nearby, yeah.
You can see an Anubian stops and gives you a somewhat strange look. Why would you go to Laguz?
Unless you know of a better path to Estelheim.
Well, Laguz is safe, nothing else. Are you going to swear vows?
Can you elaborate?
Roll me a history check. This might be something Fenton might know.
Yeah, lore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know that priests of Anubis don't really get along with the city of Laguz, because Laguz is the home and current seat of Justiciar Merin, who is the Anubian who defied Anubis and returned to life with nothing but sheer will and a desire to avenge the cause he was fighting for. So that is the definition of a Death Knight in the Stained Glass Lands. They're not lawful evil, they're lawful blank. They're more affiliated with the law than evil. But still, they're undead.
Merin is a deity, correct?
Yes, he's one of the Risen Pantheon.
Oh boy. So in regards to what this Anubian has asked me?
Yes, he doesn't seem to be very keen on helping you go to Laguz. But if you must know, the pathway is clear now that the Beholder in Algiz is defeated. There are gnolls, there are bandits, there are all sorts of things.
Nothing
But the
too
trail is
unexpected,
clear. Depends on what you define as expectable.
though.
Just be prepared.
This is Talani, is it not?
Yes. He doesn't seem to find any humor in it.
Well, thank you in any case. That is, no news is good news.
Right. And he continues walking.
Great.
Before we depart, has either of the armies set up like requisitions or anything, like buying equipment from travelers or shit like that?
Yeah, the Anubians are quite interested in, just items they can buy for support in their war. Um, you can probably, if you're looking to sell things or purchase things, um, there are definitely stores open. Or not
Di-
stores, more blacksmiths that are sharpening and caring for weaponry that would probably be open to trade.
Who in the party knows the most about trading?
No merchants here.
No merchants.
Possibly Leora with her upbringing.
I would say probably not. No, she's too
Oh,
sheltered.
no.
She doesn't exactly go out and greet people.
Uh, so then probably Shane, but that would be on the black market.
Fenton has purchased and sold products. They're probably not even sold. He's purchased items.
Not
I'm
a
just
single one of you uses weapons or armor.
Yes, I know. I'm just trying to think of like
I
who's
have
gonna.
leather armor.
I'm so sorry. Okay.
I have a rapier.
I am back. I use weapons and armor, and I know the ancient Knoll art of haggling.
Go for it, Reed.
Ah, okay.
I don't
So
like
then,
this.
I mean,
Fosh
Kanku probably
returns.
know that too with
Ancient
the
Knoll
Kanku market.
So as the party's
Trading
getting ready,
trinkets.
that's what I was saying. But
Persuasion.
exactly. As the party's just gathering up and getting ready to head out, Foshka's got this great axe and split armor he got from the Minotaur. Perhaps we should find someone to buy these off of us. I have no need for them. And I do
Yeah.
not think anyone here does as well.
It would certainly be better than carrying them.
Especially since I am the one who would be carrying them.
These are objects with some magic in them.
Only the great axe. Great axe is a +1, and the splint armor is just splint armor.
Stop ruining it, man. We're going for money. Shush.
Right. I have my little table of costs pulled up. Who are you approaching?
I guess Foshgro would ask someone where the blacksmiths have set up, and would just walk up to the first blacksmith he sees.
You're directed to. There's a station of Anubians that are continuing to sharpen and polish and maintain the armor necessary for the wars they wage. And one sort of burly Anubian sets down a sword, crosses his arms, grunts, and says, "Yes, you want to trade?"
I wish to offload some spoils of battle,
This is a donation.
and I am a
Inquisition.
mercenary.
Right.
As
What are you
fighting is my. And he, so Foshgro takes the +1 great axe off of his back and then pulls the splint armor out of a bag.
You can see he takes the great axe, swings it a few times, seems to be quite impressed with it, actually. The splint armor less so, but he turns it over in his hands. He holds the axe very much the sight of a blacksmith enjoying a well-crafted weapon and kind of not wanting to let go of it, but just glances back and says, "Are you looking to trade, or what do you want in return?"
I do not use weapons or armor. Unless you have something that I can use. That would not hamper my way of fighting with fang, claw, and tail.
We haven't enchanted wrappings that are used by our monks. Would those be of interest to you?
That depends on what they would do. How would they help my way of fighting?
Defense, increased stability. It allows you to channel your limberness to strike precisely.
Can you let my no friend here take a look? He is more smart about magic than I am.
No, we do we do not permit outsiders typically to access our tattoos. But if you wish, I'm sure I can allow something to slide if I get this great axe.
Foshker looks confused.
If we etch certain sigils into your scales, they will become magically reinforced. They're not temporary, they're not permanent if that is your concern. You may simply remove them. The magic is in the needle, not the ink.
Sorry,
How about
I think we
Sorry?
skipped past the wrappings.
The what wrappings?
You mentioned wrappings? Like monk wrappings?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, and then Foshker asked the guy if Reed could take a look at him to see if maybe Reed would have a better chance of figuring out exactly what the effect would be.
I don't let gnolls touch my things. But he may look.
Touch, smell, taste. You want to take so much information from me.
Foshker has his tail ready behind Reed's hands in case he tries to touch him.
He brings you over to a separate place of the camp. It seems to be where the more clerical Anubians are blessing weapons and other sorts of magical items. You can see that there is this intricate arrangement of bandages, multicolored wrappings, both used to indicate status on a battlefield, whether someone's a general or simply a soldier, as well as some magical enchantment. And there are also sort of a kind of like a wine bottle rack, but with needles instead of bottles.
I
Which you can see
will.
that- Sorry, go ahead.
I'll lean down closer to those wrappings and just start scenting the air. And I want to kind of focus on the ambiance of the enchanters and what they're doing, and send my will towards this object and attempt to identify it.
Mm. It is. The tattoos seem to be barrier tattoos. They are intended to magically reinforce the skin. They increase the armor class of those who are unarmored. The wrappings themselves have a more offensive bent to them. They are meant to increase the power of strikes, sort of reinforcing the bones of the hand, wrist, claw.
Tail, teeth.
Yes.
Teeth.
So rather than bracers of defense, these are wraps of offense.
Mm.
And tattoos of defense.
Well, there are many types of tattoos. These are just the ones that they'll allow you to have.
You'll
Anubians
get
are
tattoos of
prolific
spell
for their
storing.
tattoos.
You'll get tattoos
Yeah.
of spell storing after liberating 3 cities for the Anubians.
Yes. They are
Uh,
generous beings.
So after Reed has his chance to look, Foster's just gonna stare down at him.
For you. These wrappings.
Say that again, sorry?
I hadn't finished my sentence.
Oh, go ahead.
He's going full
For
read.
you, these wrappings will cause much more blood to be spilled.
Why would I care about that?
I was not speaking to you, Anubian. I was speaking to Foshkra.
And the tattoos he spoke of.
Perhaps it will cause you to gain fewer scars. Would not want that, would you?
At that, Foshker like absentmindedly taps the bleached coral spot at the top, just right underneath the sternum where he was stabbed by the death kiss.
A good scar.
A lesson that strength is needed.
And he turns back to the Nubian.
The tattoos for the axe and armor. Is that what you are offering?
A tattoo for the axe and armor. Yes.
A tattoo then.
What is the deal?
Are very large needles. Does it hurt?
Yes. You can see him swipe up the great axe, give it a few swipes, and take the splint armor, lay it down, moves over to the shelf, plucks up one of the needle, hands it to Foshkra, and that it is yours now. You must spend some time with it, attuned to it. The magic is in the ink. Place it where you wish to have a tattoo, and it will jump out of its own volition. Don't be afraid to let the point bite your skin. That is the point of it. Are you done?
I believe so. Added note. The axe and armor. It came from a minotaur that served the beholder.
I assure you would not have gotten the grace of a needle if I did not know that.
Then I respect your attention to detail. Thank you again.
Ignans enjoy taking trophies. I know how much that axe would have meant to you as one, so consider it equal. Now go. We have work to do, all of us.
At that, Foshker nods and turns to rejoin the party. Holding the needle up in front of him, just kind of turning it this way and that.
Dislike that one. Not as smart as he sounds. Pretending.
He took the items we did not want and gave me something that could help me do my job better. It seems fair to me.
Fair, yes.
Just out of curiosity, what color is the ink?
It's silver.
Okay.
Imagine as Foshker is watching it, walking up to the party, he's just like, looks down at Reed as they keep walking.
What is attunement?
It is allowing a piece of your will outside the body to focus on an object.
He gives you a confused look.
Voskra, what you did last night, the torch, the fire, it is that, but instead of your passion, it is asking for understanding.
That is simply the Ignan's way with the flame of the land that lives within.
That's of your heart. More than one type of strength. This should be of your mind.
But my mind is not as strong as the flame. This I know.
Find another type of strength. Grow it. That was one of my lessons. When I first learned how it was difficult, I thought I was accomplishing nothing. But the lesson was patience, not intensity.
Well, my people are not very patient.
Neither are mine.
Say at this point we've reached the rest of the group.
Do any of the rest of you know what attunement is that can say it, that is not saying it like Reed? I do not mean insult, Reed. Your words, I am sure, are correct, but they
No.
are confusing.
I want to hear this too.
As in attuning a magical artifact or the like?
Do not know. I traded the axe and armor for this needle. And the blacksmith said to attune to it, and it would grant me a tattoo.
Attunement, as far as arcana goes, is simply a period of time getting to know an enchantment, I suppose. If it is you were handed a tattoo?
I was handed a needle that would give me a tattoo.
I see. I imagine you spend time focusing on that needle, reaching into it perhaps mentally, physically, with an intent to seek out the arcana therein. Simply spend time with it, Foshka. Think about it and what it can do for you.
It can give me a tattoo.
Yes, if you attune to it.
So I know what it can do. But it has not done it yet, and I've been holding it since we walked from the blacksmith.
Next time we stop, perhaps for tonight, Foshka, unless you wish to do beforehand, I recommend just sitting, spending an hour or two with the needle and nothing else on your mind, and you will discover for yourself what attunement is.
Magic is confusing.
It is. It is very outside of our physical understandings.
And he takes the needle and puts it in his pouch for now.
This will be a wonderful few days. Ah, I can feel it.
Perhaps that should be an omen that we are going to have a rough road.
A well-textured road. That is the Tani way. Learn many things as we go.
Hopefully no blood red forest this time.
Ah, did I ever tell you I made tea out of the things I took from there? It was sludge, but it had an almost tangy flavor.
Perhaps, Reed, that is why you are what you are now. I would not have placed anything from that forest, even on my body, and you drank it. Ah, Toka.
There was much violence and no excitement back then. Did anything to make a day unique.
Please tell me you did not make tea out of the plant that tried to eat you.
Read is silent.
Ah, Tokanol.
Is that my name now?
No. You are simply Toka. It means you are an idiot, Reed. A fool. Stupid. That is Toka.
I reject your definition because I like the way that word sounds.
Cannot reject the definition. It is not even definition, it is translation.
I did.
Of...
I walk away.
I do want to say during this time, Lawrence is gonna go try to find Lucas to say goodbye.
Lucas is there, and you can see. Go ahead and roll an insight check, actually, as you see him sort of helping the Hellenites set up their encampments in the morning.
Oh.
The only thing you can notice is that he's moving a little oddly, as if he's in pain, but he gives a sort of thin smile and away and says, Lorenz, hello.
Hello, Lucas. I don't think that we are gonna run into each other again, so
Ever? I don't think that's how it works. But... well, so much to say.
we're on our way. We're going to be leaving to our... well, I don't know how long it will be till we get there, but we're going upwards to Estelheim.
Estelheim, right, yes. What I'll say to you, Lorenz, is that there are reasons I left. It fills me with too many feelings to go back home these days. Be wary of Arho and be kind to you, Claria. That is all I ask of you.
I will.
Did you give her a burial?
No.
Hmm.
She was upon the funeral pyre.
That was good enough. Sorry I could not make it. I was preoccupied. The Hell Knights do not make exceptions for disobeying direct orders on the basis of luck and success. But it is the life I have chosen, so I do not complain.
Please, for your own sake, stay out of trouble from now on.
Just a wry smile and a kind of half uncomfortable, awkward laugh. I'll try, but Gallows knows I disagree with some ways the Hell Knights works, and he says he's fine with me going against the grain if I'm willing to back it up through pain I suffer, but I don't want you to go through that same thing. Go, find what you lost, or find what you never had. I will be here, or there, or somewhere. I'll be glad to have met you, though.
I'm glad to have met you as well. Take care of yourself.
And you as well. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
There's a bit of pain in his eyes, but he smiles regardless and watches as you wander off. He goes back to aiding the Hell Knights in their activities.
He really is the red-headed stepchild of the Hell Knights.
Are you heading away from Algiz?
Unless there's
Unless
something
there's
other
anything
people.
more you have, yeah.
I mean, I half want to stop by and just start strutting and boasting in front of Yearning of the Gallows.
You start doing that, Foshku's gonna drag you away by the scruff.
But I figured that would happen, so I'm not going to.
And thus he is dragged away by the scruff.
Wait, no!
His skin's fragile. You're gonna tear it off.
I can't breathe.
You don't need to breathe.
Ruining all my fun.
The city of Algiz, sort of perched on a precipice. You can see the large spires of the castle fade as you wander up the ground. The grass here is no longer green, it's this sort of shade of purplish black. The dirt, blue, rotten, decaying. There's a pervasive smell in the Tlani Basin of constant rot, and you get used to it eventually, but it takes some hours of travel.
It smells like reed.
Quite literally, yeah.
Well,
The day... Sorry, go ahead.
Well, I am Talani.
You are Tlani. The day passes by. The sun overhead. Clouds begin gathering closer to the evening, but nothing assails you. It seems that anything in this vicinity was gearing up for the conflict in Algiz, and not much has been going on since. Night rapidly approaches. You come just near the edge of the river at the halfway point between Algiz and Laguz, and night begins to fall as you cross the bridge at the rather smaller, narrower portion of this river than when you cross to Algiz, where you can see there are sort of fire pits, camps set up for people who are making the 2-day journey between Laguz and Algiz. It's a fairly common route, especially for traders and merchants, and there seems to be some sort of camping location that individuals utilize. As the dusk begins to fall, you can see that there's only one of these multiple campfires lit. Sort of a burning, crackling bonfire. Two turned over logs. 4 individuals sit. Now, I will say it is getting close to our end time, but are you guys good to continue for another conversation or another scene involving this current one right here?
I'm good to keep going.
Good.
Good.
All right.
Good.
The 4 individuals you see, you can see one sort of aged, gray-furred female laying in, dressed in sort of scarred, matted, scuffed-up armor, sort of laughing out raucously, loudly, laughing back, throwing her shoulders back, slapping the back of the individual seated next to her, a thin, sort of gaunt, brown-furred tabaxi, dressed in rather elegant attire. Definitely more of the noble bent rather than some meandering brigand. The third individual is a black dragonborn, very young, sort of barely through his teenage years. Sort of seems to be carving something out of wood in his hand, listening to the conversation, but not really interjecting. And the fourth, probably, to your surprise, is a tall, skinny Yuan Ti, dressed in shawls and golden bangles, wearing a sort of veil cloth tied to each wrists that flow with his motions. He wields a what is it? A lute in his hands, and he seems to be plucking at it, playing music.
What?
Oh,
Wait
I'll
a
send
minute.
you the.
These are. This sounds like an adventuring party. They do
I'll send
exist.
you in scrying the images of the 4 of them.
Oh, they have pictures. Uh-oh.
They do have pictures.
That means they're important.
Why does it have to be a black dragonborn?
these are some good critters.
There's the sound of music, sort of echoing throughout this little valley. And as the 6 of you approach, you can see the Leonin's the one who stands, and you can see her sort of stumble a bit, a little bit drunk, and just call out, "Hey, travelers, sit down, come on. I presume you not to be bandits, so well, you're welcome at our table."
Is the Yonti still playing?
Yeah.
Or has there? I'd like to take out my own lute on our approach and try to play along to the same song.
Roll me a performance check.
Do it. Nice.
There we go.
Good.
Note the +10. I need
The
it.
Yuan-Ti had his eyes closed as he was sort of strumming his lute, and he doesn't open them, but you can see him tilt his snout a little at the sort of additional voice in this little ensemble, and you can see he kind of takes the back seat and performs some supporting lines to whatever song you're playing quite well. The tabaxi, also quite inebriated at this point, stands and sort of stumbles in your direction and says, hello, nice to meet you. What brings you up here?
You look like violence.
What do you mean by that?
Ignore him. He talks in riddles all the time.
Uh,
It
All
is
the
true.
time.
Do they not seem as sellswords?
I've sold more than swords in my time, but sell swords, yes, I suppose. I'm Sting of the Scorpion. I'm from the Sands, but four of us have met under rather strange circumstances. If you would like to sit by us and tell us your tale, that little snake is quite good at convincing you to share some stories by the campfire.
We do have to rest for the night anyways, so...
There's
must
pleasure in
admit-
company, so the more the merrier.
Undoubtedly. I have to admit, I had assumed I had found the oddest group of strangers to travel the stained glass with, but I see now I may be mistaken.
No, just the one. Glances towards the auntie. Right, well. Make your own little arrangements. We'll be here if you wish to talk. And hear our little tale.
Are you with a guild? You said you were mercenary.
No, not mercenaries, travelers. Three of us met, all on the way to Lagos to pledge oaths of our own.
You said
The
you
auntie
sold
is-
swords.
Sorry, go ahead.
But you said you sold swords. Sell sword.
I did, at one point or another. I was a merchant in the sands, made a play of becoming one of the trade lords, and sadly, Lady Luck had other things to say about it.
So you literally sold swords.
Yes. Did you think I was joking?
Did
No.
you think I was speaking in riddles?
If you are, then I suppose it is my turn to decipher them.
Do not try. He is confusing.
And most frustrating.
Well, at least this current company is pleasant, so a change of pace would be nice. He settles back on the log, brings out a flask of whiskey, and takes another sip. The auntie continues to play.
Reed,
Quite
why
good at
don't
it.
you cook something?
Are you presuming to tell me what to do?
I can either tell you what to do, or I could try to make you.
I will cook something because I want to.
I think that's a great reason, Reed.
You
I-
should do it because you want to.
Don't need your platitudes. Reed will shoulder off his things into a heap and walk into the river.
Fantastic. Scorpion, I believe we interrupted you. You had mentioned 3 out of 4 of you were on your way to make pledges in Laguz.
Sting's the name I typically go by. Scorpion is the formal version, I would say, but to friends and compatriots, it is simply Sting. Yes.
Sting it is.
3 of us, the Dragonborn, the Lane, and I, we all by pure serendipitous chance found ourselves on the path to Lagos for one reason or another. We all have a pledge with Merrin that we wish to be ratified. Becoming paladins, we all are, aren't we? I consider Leon give a sort of hearty guffaw and a laugh. Right, he thinks he is. He's just some whelp. He doesn't know what it takes. Look at him! Can barely lift a fucking sword. I'm Mauve, by the way. I've been around the ringer a few times.
It's a pleasure to meet you.
You as well.
Indeed.
Met a lot of people. And they, unfortunately... Well, that's a little too introspective for the night, I guess, but... Such is a campfire. Don't talk to Gar over there, he's a bore. You can see the Dragonborn kind of glare at her.
And does Gar have anything to say about that?
It is Agarax! I've told you so many times. Yes, I do have a few things to say about it, but well... I don't know. It called me a nickname, and I guess it stuck, so...
It happens.
Yeah. I figured that out. Are you to Lagos as well?
We are headed in that direction, yes.
We're mostly just passing through.
I see. Okay. Roll me an insight check if those of you who are speaking to him would like. Fenton, he seems a little nervous or apprehensive, but you're not quite sure why. But the Yuan-Ti continues to play.
My insight isn't rolling.
I will offer my own hand first to Agarax then. It's a pleasure to meet you all. I'm Fenton Senobo.
I got 16 on insight. I rolled the real dice.
Smart.
You notice that he doesn't like Fenton. He seems very nervous and scared of Fenton. Shane, you know Black Dragonborn, the ones you've met, to be very, very calm, not afraid of much, quite cruel, but this one seems nervous. Kind of flighty. Right. Nice to meet you, Fenton. Why are you here?
We were invited to a fire and I heard some music.
Well, they invited you. Oh, that's separate. I guess I'm just here to watch the fire, so... They're the ones that like to do the talking.
Right.
Out of curiosity, does Fenton have a bow on him?
Fenton does have a light crossbow, yeah.
Okay. Alright, quick question to you, Bird Larikakra. Do you worship Kvara to any degree?
I revere Kavara. I say a prayer to Kavara.
He stands up and walks. He stands up and walks into the cart that is sort of adorning the side of their camp and slams the door shut.
All right. Well,
I agree with him.
The Lenin speaks up, gonna guffaw and says, "Oh, shut it, Gar. Come out. He's not gonna hurt you. Not while I'm about. Isn't that right?" And glares towards Fenton.
What did hurt that dragon?
Oh, just the usual. Parents got killed by some zealous priest. I think he lived in Yeba or something. I don't give a fuck. Doesn't mean he has to be a bitch about it.
I think I speak for most of everyone of my group that we mean no ill intention.
Think that matters to him? Damaged people do damaged things. I've seen a lot. He'll come out eventually. I'll drag him out, I guess.
I do not wish to cause, as Loren said, any harm. If he can hear me, if it makes a difference, I am a bard from Obidis. I am certainly not one of Kavara's devout.
God, another one of you. She glances towards the snake. Right, well, I guess we're in for a musical fucking journey, everyone.
I cannot tell. Are you happy or not?
You can see the question takes her aback slightly, and she tilts her head at you. Why do you care?
I want to know things.
Oh, don't say it like that.
You always ask people that, you fucking weirdo?
Not always. A
No, he
unique
does. He does.
individual requires unique questions.
You don't have unique questions.
Can I ask you a very unique question, Noel?
Of course.
Who the fuck do you think you are?
I am Reed Annalus Charbrine.
Oh, he has a goddamn name. Got a pedigree attached to that stamped on your fucking forehead?
My pedigree is slavery in Teresaz and death to freedom.
Oh, don't give me the whole sob story now.
Would you like fish?
Yeah, why not?
Excellent. I still cannot tell if you are happy or not.
You know, Noel, me too. That's a question the both of us can work on a bit, but, well, might have an answer after I'm fed. So keep on doing what you're doing.
Yeah, I will definitely flay up the fish, kind of give it like a gentle, crunchy char on the outside, and sauce it up with some leftover sauce from the poor man's tavern back in Vale.
As the food is ready, you can see Malv turn back and shout, "Get the fuck out of my caravan, Gar! You have to eat! I can't drag you out there by your goddamn tail again." Eventually he crawls out. Very much with the countenance of some annoyed teenager, but dinner is served.
I will hold the fish meant for the dragon in my hands and say, "How are you going to obtain this from me?"
But you're a cook. I shouldn't have to obtain it from you.
Answer the question.
I'm not starving. Why would I fight you for it?
You assume fighting. You've lived fighting. Is that why you are hurt?
Are you going to give me that, or are you going to...
Are you going to take it?
Fine. You see him very, very tentatively approach, kind of gingerly reach out his claws to try to grab it.
I'll pull it
Very
away.
slowly, very
I'll
timid.
pull it away exactly the same speed.
Look, what,
Are you going to take it?
Stop
can see
messing
the
with him.
Are you going to
Leon.
whimper and retreat and hide, or are you going to take it?
Enough! You can hear the Leonin roar. She's going to charge you. Does 19 hit?
Yes, 19 will hit.
She is going to put you into a grapple and throw you on the ground. And just release you there, stand, pull you back up. Don't terrorize the poor boy.
He terrorizes himself.
He has his goddamn reasons. You don't have to go poking around other people's lives just so you can watch them bleed. Is that how you treat everyone around you? God, no
Yes.
wonder you're a
Yes.
miserable prick.
Yep.
Ah, I can see. See, the other people around you have confirmed that. Maybe try to be a fucking pleasant individual for once. And thanks for the meal, by the way.
Pleasant. Not my. Throw the fish on the ground and stomp on it to the dirt.
Pushka grabs him by the scruff and drags him away.
The bad Noel has to go in timeout.
Malf, have you met many other gnolls?
Yeah. Did a stint in Terisaz.
Well, then it shouldn't be too hard to see that Reed is a gnoll, but
Oh, he's
more
an all
pleasant than
alright.
most.
Ticks in his own weird way, like some messed up fucking clock. They say they're right twice per however long. Twice per day is it? Yeah, I give this one maybe once or so. If it's a good day. Sit
He
down,
might
Gar.
surprise you.
Oh, he did. That's why he's not dead. And she settles down and just whispers something to Gar. Yeah, I'm off to the goods as well, I guess. We'll all have our own little things to worry about. What brings you up there?
We're passing through to get to Estelheim.
Aye? Trying to get away from it all?
Oh, that's part of it.
I don't blame you. Get me more drunk and I might have more to say.
I would like to resume playing my lute a little bit, and then ask the Yanti. And do you speak? Do you have a name?
I speak, but my name was wrested from me some time ago. I am simply now called the storyteller. I collect and share.
Then we are truly kindred spirits, I would say.
I would question any attempt to liken me to yourself. But I appreciate the gesture of friendship, so commonly lacking in the courtesy of most I meet. Tell me, what is your tale, Bard? I'm sure you have much to speak about.
That would be a long tale indeed. What interests you?
Me? When one looks at a horizon, they note primarily the peaks of mountains that jut out. Tell me what defines you, what defines your map, what stands out. I will tell you a tale in return.
There are many mountains of recent, but I don't think it is in my right to speak on them. At least not now. Back home, however, was a young bard, a prodigy by any sense of the words. Have you been to Obidus?
Many times, many times.
Then you know that bards are a cheap trick there. Standing out is not something done easily. Yet, thanks to my father, I was primed to do exactly that. To be the bard of Obidus.
Even the most brilliant of diamonds lose their luster by comparison in the windows of a jewelry shop.
This is true. Perhaps that was something that was on my mind when I decided to leave that place.
I see. And thus you are here attempting to polish yourself anew.
Yes, perhaps. Whether to pursue the same path or a new one, I have yet to discover.
We all find our own journeys. What do you wish to hear from me?
Well, I hope it is not surprising that you yourself are of great interest. You say you do not remember your name, but do you remember how you came to be where you are now?
I remember my name. It was Selama, but long ago the clerics of Srivasi wished for me to scry on an individual in particular, a man, a trade lord named Rose. I infiltrated his mansion, I spied on his ongoings, his plots, his planning, his schemes, but I was not ready for the aisles and aisles of musicians, bards, tellers, minstrels, spinstrels, and all sorts of those who weaved emotions into tangible, real, material products. It fascinated me. I had no understanding of it previously, but to be immersed, to be drowned in the concept of emotion, for it to flow freely through my veins like thin blood, like water through an aqueduct, flowing and so unburdened. Fascination could not describe it. I became one of Rose's trusted advisors, one of his many consorts, collecting and telling these stories to him whenever he wished at his whim. It became who I am, and to a man such as him, names are a valuable, malleable thing. Thus I became his storyteller, his soothsayer, his bedside companion. And thus he sent me out to collect more tales, to appease his entertainment, his whim. It so happened that I found these three. I have a question for you, Arakokra.
Only if you'll allow me one in return.
What is more powerful? Anger, he points to the Dragonborn. Redemption, points to Leonin. Or revenge? He points towards the Tabaxi.
I suppose it depends on who is telling the story.
And yet it has not come to its conclusion. And so I remain here, collecting words. Do you wish to hear one of my tales?
I do. In fact, I would love to hear as many as you care to tell. But can I ask one point regarding your background with Rose?
Yes?
I'd hate to draw back to a time prior to him. What did Shravasi want to know about Thief of Roses?
The collection of information is a delicate, intricate art. Those who collect it are often not the ones to use it. That is for the more informed, the more learned.
So you were simply to cast the broadest net possible.
No, a very specific net. Rose is a figure of importance, as you know. It was my responsibility, should it be deemed, to influence him in one way or another. There are many ways people of power can be influenced. I suppose I failed my task, but in doing so I found a more pleasing existence. Music is my drug, my thing I am addicted to, my cause and my purpose for existence.
Thank you. That is something I believe I can understand.
For one like me, Fenton, I don't believe you understand. And pray that you never will. To Kavara, or to whoever calls your fancy.
A story then.
When the Ogre King formed, he had 2 men at his side. 2 knights that stood in the shadow of a king, one silent, austere, armored in glass, the other donning painted plate and godish ring, each penned in these glorious stories of the past. The knight of stained glass, a valiant soul, had wandered astray from Amadeus' side. His armor etched with tales of his battles told, his honor now dead with mercenarial pride. And then the other, the Knight of Mirrors, so silent in his fights, remained loyal to his destined king. His armor shone as a light beamed in the night, reflecting doubt that only silence can bring. When Amadeus fell, the 2 would again meet, and steel would clash where friendship was once known. This king whose madness brought both knights defeat Well, the knight of glass saw only lies he'd sown. This knight of stained glass in his opponent's polished shield saw the honor he lost with his own broken past, and mirror saw in glass the valor he'd concealed in someone who had left his truth behind at last. The battle ended in not blood nor stone, but as they parted ways, both knights had died. For in that moment they both had known they compromised on their principles. It is only to themselves that they had lied. The Ogre Kingdom is known for many stories, but Amadeus and his minions are some of the brightest and most twisted. These two knights, they are rumored to roam the land these days. If you meet them, I would love to know.
We will be sure to tell you should that occur.
Continues to play his lute. He seems to be motioning with his own music, kind of like a dancer to some tune you can hear. The sheer unbridled joy and sort of freedom in his limber, lithe movements, a mix of a dance and a play as he continues to strum, is quite enchanting, sweet in some way. There has been no purer happiness known. As the camp continues, would you like to have conversations with any of the 4 NPCs here?
I would just say after Foshgriff finishes cleaning up Reed's mess, he would
Grr.
just to the Leonin. Sorry for the Null. He is Toka. Idiot. Fool.
I've dealt with a lot of them. They don't bother me anymore.
It was a good tackle, though.
You look ready to jump in. I defend mine, you defend yours, I guess.
Normally, yes. But he had it coming. I was about to grab him myself. I left him in the mud. He should be happier there.
Sure enjoyed it. Care for a drink?
Normally. But I must take watch. It is Tilani, after all.
Well, lighten up. You should celebrate. Helgis was conquered. Can't all
I
be
know.
that bad.
But I have a job. And it is to protect. And this is Tilani. and you can
Mercenary,
never know
aren't you?
best. Yes.
I could tell by the way you look around. Well. She shuffles over on the log and pats next to her. Sit down at least. What brings you so far away from your home? Can't be Wanderlust. You're too sad for that.
No. I traveled through Tilani before. I come simply for work.
Yeah. I was planning to, but not really for work, I guess. Or a passion, a drive I thought I had.
Passion brought you to Tilani.
What I thought was right. What do you
It
think
will-
about necromancers? Huh?
Hmm.
Think they deserve to die?
I do not. I cannot say. For the only ones I have ever seen were in Teresa's.
Yeah, those are the ones.
Those who, from the years I spent in that rot of a city, who grow the rot of the land that takes the Lani. Those, they poison the land. But then there are those, the shaman, who speak with the fallen, give last words to family, and then let the dead rest.
Oh, I have no issues with them, just the fuckwads that bury people out of their goddamn graves and raise them. Shitbags, all of them.
Hmm.
And you know, the thing about Lani is that the majority of these goddamn necromancers are dragonborn of a certain color of scale, if you'd noticed. And me, being the good fucking Leonin I was, thought it was a great idea to go crusading around the goddamn basin, gutting every little black dragonborn I could.
And yet now you defend one.
Had a change of heart. Way back when Furious House fell. I'm an old one, I know. There was one. His name's Murdoch. He wasn't a bad guy. But I somehow got it into my head that every single goddamn black dragonborn wanted to go digging around some shit pile and gather power and accumulate it in their grubby little hands and make life miserable for every other idiot that lives in the basin. And so I hung on a pike. He was alive. Killed him and killed me as well at the same time, I guess, so now I'm off to Lagus to make amends.
One could say that is a similar thought that many have of my own.
Yeah. I prefer not to think, I like feeling. It's more honest.
But feeling can drive your thoughts, drive your action.
And that's the rub, isn't it? You're ignorant, you'd know.
And perhaps I am learning something else.
Eh,
I was recently shown the other side from one I call friend. That those who look upon my people, the same ones I look back for many years and only want them to burn for what my people go through. They see demons of fire and scale and horn, monsters that do not but destroy. And yet, now I travel with none of my own. And yet none of them treat me as a demon. None of them call me Ignon. Or, hey you, beast of the sands. Stand here. Get hit.
I know that feeling. This world's all kinds of fucked up, you know? It's been through a lot of pain. Drives people insane.
The land is in pain.
What isn't? Look, I find people I care about, and I, like a hound, make sure they don't fucking die. And that's enough for me. Might be not enough for you, but, well, who am I to say what you want?
It is why I am not in the sands.
Go ask Sting why he's not in the sands, and you might go right back to your angry ways, by the way. I'll tell you what. He wanted to be a trade lord.
As he said. And he would take a city in the sands, claim it as his own, and forbade anyone of Ignan blood to enter.
See, I don't think he forbids anything but reasonable, sensible thoughts going into his megalomaniacal head, so good luck chatting with him.
I will leave him to one of the others then.
Probably for the best.
Would not want to risk your blows should he anger me.
All I've got to do is kick back and relax, let the night go on.
You can. I have
Oh,
a
I
job.
will. I'm sure you do. And we'll appreciate you for it. It's good to meet you.
You
I like
as
people
well.
who are frank and honest. Not many
You-
of those types about.
You may call me Foshkra.
Foshka, huh? I remember that.
And if Reed bothers you again, just knock him down again.
Oh, I can handle myself.
I think he likes it.
She glances at you quizzically. Well, that's a new one. Right.
He's a Gnoll. He likes to be bossed around. It is the only way I can get him to do anything.
Fucking climaxing from the supposed affection denied to him in his goddamn childhood, probably. They're all the same type.
Oh, he is weird. For
I
a
could
Gnoll.
tell.
You know, the first time I met him was in Teresa's. And we came upon a wolf. And instead of immediately wanting to kill it, he tried to befriend it. I have never seen a Gnoll try to befriend anything before.
And he's different. I think he would consider you your friend, then I think you should keep it. Can't be all that bad. There's good in everyone. Sometimes you just gotta beat it out of them.
If only he would stop talking in riddles.
Maybe someone beat his head too hard. Who knows?
Oh, that I can assure you.
Good luck.
You
Good
as
night.
well. And apologize to your Black Dragonborn friend as well.
I care about him, you know.
Well, that is
People-
obvious. You would not have tackled a Gnoll if you did not.
People look at him and think he's some monster. Shitbag grows orchids. He was a fucking herbalist. He's harmless. He's
He
angry in his own
seems-
ways.
He seems more scared.
That'll do it. Yeah. We all are of some things.
Ah. I will at least say I cannot judge based on what he is. My people do not separate the Dragonborn. Really call them Dragonborn.
Simple name. I can get that.
I have seen blue, black, and they are just Dragonborn. I do not know what the difference of their scales mean, if it should mean anything. My people are a myriad of
Well,
colors, and
if you
take no
ask
credit for
me-
their scales.
5 years ago, with the difference between a black dragonborn and the other kinds of dragonborn, I would have said self-respect, so... But I get you now. They're all kind of the same.
Which brings a curious memory of a city we were in not long ago.
Hmm?
A black dragonborn looking to change his scales back.
Look, I just killed them. I didn't philosophize with them.
I didn't talk to him either. I just heard the others
Good.
talking to them.
Good. That's what other people are for, talking to Dragonborn.
So their scales can change, is what I learned that day.
I guess. You thinking of becoming a Terran, or an Orin, or an Aquan, God forbid?
No. There's too much of the flame of the land in my breast.
That's what I thought.
But I think, what if your friend, his scales were not always black?
Then he wouldn't be who he is. That's what's important.
Hmm. No. Thank you for the fire, for the chat.
You too. You're not half bad.
Thank you.
Slams you on the back with the hand.
Returns it in favor. With as much, if not maybe a little bit more force.
Hmm.
Now, I must look at the needle before I have to go to watch.
See, that thing you just said rivals that goddamn Nolan weirdness, so go off. And, I'll just have some whiskey.
Foshgrid nod, kind of fights a smile, and stands up, and goes to find a spot, probably somewhere with the rest of his regular group, and pulls out the needle and just starts just staring at it.
After an hour or so, and sort of pricking yourself in it, the silver ink slides through your skin at your location of choosing and wraps around. You can feel your scales become a bit harder. Your armor class increases by 1, since you are unarmored currently.
Okay.
It adds on to your unarmored defense.
So is it like the ink crawls up and then makes like the shape?
Yeah.
Say, maybe on his upper right arm is where it goes, and he's just like
Go
watching
for
the ink crawl up his arm and is just like staring at it, like holding it out farther and farther away from himself, trying to get away from his own arm as it wraps up.
Would you... Awesome. Would any of you like to have other conversations with NPCs, or would you like to leave it until next time?
I could talk to these critters all night, but I think next time would be good.
Reed will have to finish casting his plant growth. So he will be busy for the night.
And we will pick it up next time then. Thank you for the session. It's always fun.
Oh my goodness.
Have fun at Monday tomorrow. Yes. Yay.
Work.
Woohoo!
Yay.
I love Monday morning.
Fel, can you make money off of this so that you can just hire us and we don't have to work anymore?
If only, if only.
A Critical Role did it. We can do it.
Time
Ambition.
to make stained glass land social media.
It's good
The
conversations
things I would have
today.
to do to this campaign to rake in the kind of cash based on the demographic that would watch it is not something I'm willing to do quite yet.
Quite yet.
Perhaps
We
in
are-
times
Quite
of
yet.
desperation and destitution, but
Oh, there will be much desperation.
We are not opening up a Patreon where the Patreon rewards are,
No.
you know,
Okay, I'm gonna stop the recording.